Hey,
Hi everyone, it's great to be here with all of you, and I'll be moderating this panel together with James Zhang, who's the founder and CEO of Concept Art House, and James is a friend, and we're investors in Concept Art House, and we're very happy to be collaborating together. Before I sort of before I hand over the mic to James to introduce Concept Art House, let me very quickly sort of introduce Spartan and get it out of the way. So Spartan is a crypto advisory and investment firm. On the advisory side of our business, we focus mostly on helping crypto startups to raise capital. And we've worked with major projects in the space like Blockstack, Dapper Labs, the Solana Foundation. We helped Bybit Exchange to create BitDAO, which is the biggest investment DAO in the world. And we also recently worked with other projects like Credo Network, as well as World in their fundraisers. In addition to that as well, we also have an M&A business where we have advised on 5 major deals, including selling 2 companies to FTX. And then on the investment side, which I focus on, we have 2 funds at the moment. We have a liquid hedge fund, and we also have a DeFi venture fund. And in a few days, we will be launching our 3rd fund, which is a Metaverse and gaming fund. It's a early stage venture strategy, and we're raising $200 million for that fund. So obviously very timely, to be launching the fund and to be participating on this panel. So with that, I'm happy to sort of have James sort of introduce Concept Art House and what Concept Art House does.
hey, Kelvin, thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun getting to know the Spartan team, and you guys are a great team, man. Happy to be here. My name is James Zhang. I'm the founder and CEO of Concept Art House. We are Web3 builders, artists, engineers. We've been in the space for a year and a half. We have helped ship some of the top projects in Web3. That I'll go back a little bit. Concept Art House, we have been in business for 13 years. We were well known in the games industry for helping produce some top graphics for games like World of Warcraft. Did some concept work for Fortnite, Call of Duty Mobile, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Roblox, many big titles. We helped ship over 1,000 games in the past 13 years of business. I'm also a founding partner of Blockchain Co-Investors. It's an early blockchain fund of funds. So I got into blockchain about 4 years ago, 2017. Concept Art House got into the NFT space about a year and a half ago, end of 2020. And last year, we helped ship 15 projects in Web3, like Frank Miller's Sin City, the Olympics NFTs. We announced a round of funding that was participated by Spartan Capital, led by Dapper Labs, which we announced in October last year, the $25 million Series A. And today, we have 15 projects in Web3 that we're actively working on. You will see our projects through NFL, UFC, Geno Pets, and I'll talk about a few more through this talk. So thanks for having me here.
It's great. Thanks for that introduction, James. Could you maybe dive a little bit deeper into how you got into crypto, and also why you think that this is sort of the right I know it's been a year and a half, but why this period is the right time for Concept Art House to focus on crypto and the NFT space in general?
Oh my God, I've been waiting for this movement. I feel like my whole career. So I'll go back to a bit of the beginning. I don't know how many artists we have in the audience, but I'm an artist by trade. My first job was concept artist for George Lucas on Star Wars games.
Cool.
So I was quite good at art. I started the company. I wanted to tell stories, create amazing artwork. But I'll tell you what, 12 years doing really high-end service work, we learned to solve so many problems. but we were never able to really capture the value or really promote um, artists. And when Web3 came along, the big disruption for us was digital scarcity and NFTs. And that was huge because suddenly all the art we did that was unique to us, it's no longer just a JPEG. You can own an image, you can own a gaming asset. And that big disruption changed our business. And so we pivoted to Web3 early 2021, and we started fundraising and became really oversubscribed. And it turns out all of those skills that we harnessed over the years is a great fit for Web3 because it's about art, it's about creativity, it's about technology, and it's about gaming.
Right. Very interesting. And can you talk about whether or not your business model has had to change, along with this, new technology and so on as well?
Yeah, it's a whole. I mean, where do I start? I guess we have a pretty diverse audience. I think for gamers, the idea of owning your digital assets is really huge. So we actually partner with three main groups. Group one are gaming companies that are in the Web2 space hoping to get into Web3. So they kind of know about our transition. So we work with companies. I think I could talk about it. One of them, for example, I think Spartan participated in this, but Planet Mojo are friends of mine that started working at LucasArts years ago. I know Mike Levine, great guy. We both had same ideas around gaming, and they pivoted to Web3. And there's a few key things they had to do along the way to make that pivot. We made those pivots too. Understanding tokenomics, understanding value creation. And there's a lot of other things we will go through in this talk, I know. That's one group, Web2 gaming companies going to Web3. The second group we became attractive to are Web3 crypto natives. So many of you I know are fans of NFTs. You bought NFTs, you know what the blue chip NFT projects are. And the reason these NFTs sell is because there's utility behind them. But imagine you're 3 or 4 creative people, you sell a PFP project, you've suddenly made $3 or $4 million, but along the way, you've promised a video game or a comic book or a huge streetwear. Well, those are really hard things to do. And usually 3 or 4 person teams aren't great at doing those things. So then we might work with a team like that to help you build the game, the comic, and all kinds of other ideas. So our friends at GenoPets, what a great project. I mean, this is like Pokemon for Web3, right? But, Jay, Albert, Ben, they're amazing entrepreneurs. And we ended up partnering with them where they get to utilize our artists. And the third group we work with are brands and celebrities. And of course, brands and celebrities, there's so many reasons to get into NFTs. They also need builders and artists. And we just happen to be builders and artists. So those are the third group we partner with. And our friend Frank Miller, the creator of Sin City 300, certainly falls in that category.
Right. Super interesting. And you mentioned some of these Web2 companies, and I know that you've worked with some of the really sort of big brands and content creators in that space, yes. Right? People like Activision, Blizzard, people like Tencent, and so on. How are these bigger companies thinking about this transition, right? Because it's such a big disruption, right? But it's also generated so much interest and so much buzz. So how are these companies thinking about that, and what are they doing, if anything?
Oh, yeah. Well, I certainly can't speak for all of the games industry. I'll tell you my history and connection to the games industry. We were shipping 70 games a year as Concept Art House, and some of those were household names. And we still do some work with Roblox. I mean, what a great metaverse. And the other ones are smaller companies. So the bigger companies, yeah, I know the mobile players are making an easier transition into crypto. For example, you look at Gem City, they have their game Ascension. They took all their learnings in free to play and they're applying it to a form of play to earn. Look at how many fans the card game genre has created. And now you have Skyweaver, you have Gods Unchained that's based on these card games. We will work with Hearthstone for many years. I can't comment on what Blizzard will do, but certainly they're aware of the NFT market. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, how collectible are Hearthstone cards if you put another utility on top of that? you know? So the bigger the company, I think in a way, the slower they move. But then you look at the mobile players, I think have a slightly easier transition than the console players. We saw Ubisoft kind of stumble with their NFT project.
Yep.
But then you see Zynga jumping in. And I think you and I both know several massive mobile game companies that are looking to pivot into Web3. And it's understandable.
Yeah, that's super insightful.
Yeah.
And diving into some of the other projects that you hinted at, right, that Concept Art House has worked on over the past year. You know, I think you mentioned sort of Frank Miller, which is obviously, actually, Frank was one of my favorite artists when I was growing up as a kid. But could you talk about that and also some of the other things that you guys are working on? You know, super interested in hearing all of that.
Oh, God, what a fun topic. Yeah. So those of you that don't know, Frank Miller is in his 60s now. When Frank goes to Comic-Con, he's like a god. So if his influence is felt in every Batman movie since The Dark Knight will credit Frank because he's the one that kind of made Batman dark. Okay. And his book, Dark Knight Rising, is the top 5 comic book all time, along with like Watchmen and a couple of others. But Frank, you know, his properties that he owns are like 300. Sin City is a little bit, you know, it's dated. Those were hit movies 12 years ago, 15 years ago. So he sought a way to access the crypto and the new modern, the modern collector, the modern reader. So he partnered with us. He wanted a team that understood crypto, understood digital collectibles, but to make his legacy work more current. So we worked with him and said, Frank, what do you want? What do you care about? Well, he said, Sin City's my baby. This is a 30-year anniversary. I had 2 hit movies. Can you help me immortalize what my art means? So if you go to frankmiller.io, you can see some of our personal work, and there's a utility attached to those. And we were a verified project OpenSea. We partnered with our great friends at Gala Games, and we sold out. And the result of that, I think Frank would be very happy with. Famous artist, his top physical piece sold for $500,000. His digital NFT, the one of one, sold for $840,000 from a huge collector, you know? So great. We have the distinction of helping Frank sell his most expensive piece of artwork. And what a great way to activate it through NFTs.
Really amazing. Amazing.
Some other projects we're working on today. Okay, we have a skateboard metaverse that's really awesome. Can't wait to share that with you guys. We're deep in discussion for a definitive tattoo metaverse that I can't say too much about. We have a first-person shooter that we love. That's Imagine If Every Gun is an NFT that you can upgrade. You mentioned Wilder Worlds. We love the Wilder team. Some of this I have to be careful about because these are live conversations we're having. But let's just say that what I love about Web3 is how collaborative everything is. And if you've been around and you're considered reliable and high quality, and you know Web3, you can do well in this market. We want more reliable quality. We think we stand for that. So like my company, we have 120 people, 45 people in the US. And we've been here for 13 years. So people respond to our story and they know the quality of the artwork. They know I'm an artist. And so it's really fun for us. And we get new deals every day right now.
Right. That's really interesting. And could you also talk about some of the challenges that, you know, you've faced perhaps sort of moving into the Web3 world, right? Because it is quite a bit of a change. You know, what are some of the challenges that you have encountered and how have you solved some of those problems?
Thank you. Well, for me, it starts with me. For 12 years, we figured out a system that worked for my company. You know, we were modest revenue, high quality, well-known, but suddenly, you know, I had 4 years to learn about blockchain. You know, I've been investing in space for a long time, made 40 plus personal investments. But suddenly, for me to fuel this growth of this company, I had to raise money while shipping projects, while recruiting a really amazing team. I had to change how I thought about things. So it started with me. Saying goodbye to some of our top Web2 clients was super hard. Some of these have been with me for years. You know, even the day that I had to tell, you know, my friend who's art director at Hearthstone, say, hey man, I know we worked together for 10 years on Hearthstone. I love the artwork. Still a WoW player. but we're not going that direction anymore. That was really hard. And then the new discipline of finding the team to do smart contracts and tokenomics and NFT design. These are very new skill sets. And anybody in Web3 will tell you how difficult recruiting is. These are whole new skill sets. So we had to really transform and pivot the business. Yeah, and we learned a lot from our clients and our partners too. So that's the benefit of us. And a key part of our business of being B2B business, we get to learn from our partners, see their challenges, and learn from them.
Right. Got it. And I guess you mentioned Wild the World earlier, and I think it's a good time to sort of talk about the metaverse. So what is your concept of the metaverse, and what excites you about the metaverse?
Yeah, I've given talks about this. I love this topic too. I look at metaverse in so many ways. I mean, just as a consumer myself, I look at Snow Crash and Ready Player One, saw the movies. There's this concept. I'm sure every metaverse talk goes that direction. I think today, the most functional metaverse we have that's in our imagination, what it is still Roblox. It's a place where you can be creative, you can interact, you can connect, and you can transact value and create businesses. If those are your criteria for metaverse, there's not a lot out there. The original pioneer of that has to be Second Life, right? People don't know, but Second Life is still profitable to this day.
Right.
So metaverse, as we think of it at Web3, the key difference between Web3 metaverse and Web2 metaverse is ownership. Web2 metaverse is a centralized system, right? Look no further than Facebook changed their name to Meta. And, we all have, anybody in Web3 has opinions about that. And I'm not going to add more fuel to that fire. Web3 metaverse is so freaking hard to build. Like, I like the guy that just spoke before me from Polygon. He talked about mini metaverses. That's much more doable. You're the metaverse of shopping. I mentioned metaverse of skateboards, metaverse of tattoo, metaverse of cars. Those are much more doable.
Right.
So I have a lot of opinions about it. I think the space is very early. I think it's way too buzzword right now. If you want to make money creating or being part of a metaverse, I really encourage you to look at tools and be in a segment of a really focused metaverse. I can speak more about that, but I know we're kind of short on time. So to summarize for me, it's really exciting. It's really early. There is cash generation possibility. Look at how long it took Web2 to get there. Web3 is going to have that much further to go. Yeah. Wilder is a whole different thing. I think Wilder, look at the graphics. If you guys aren't familiar, go look at Wilder World and try to use your imagination. Look at what their shoes look like, their pets, their cars, their land. That's a full all-in strategy on Metaverse. And they've been building that for 6 years. So it looks amazing. And hopefully the functionality, the fun will match. Sandbox, we had Sebastian here earlier, whole other metaverse, really ahead of the curve, a lot of opinions about it. Yeah, we could probably talk a whole hour on this, but I'm gonna stop here if you have any other questions.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that as well. And there are a bunch of assets that I hold in this metaverses, and they just look crazy. I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
But speaking of the metaverse, I mean, what do you see as the opportunity there for a firm like Concept Art House, right? How would you partner with some of these metaverses, and what could you be doing for them?
Ooh, kind of want to get. We have some really, really good ideas.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to get into the specifics of any sort of particular work that you're doing. I'm just sort of thinking about it more broadly.
Okay. I think about ownership. I think about land and digital ownership and creativity. Okay, if the metaverse is a digital representation of our physical world, what does that mean? It means you can use your imagination to do something virtually that you can't do physically, right? So the land that you potentially own in Sandbox, Sebastian, he would love to have you build on his land. And you should look into that. Wilderwall would love that. If you're a good builder, they would love to have you build on their land. So you can imagine for us, we've been making like AAA games, fantasy sci-fi for years and years and years. Of course, James wants his own spaceship. And I want a virtual custom shop where I can take my virtual spaceship or my virtual sports car and go into this virtual garage and have some professional artists customize it in the way that I want. Like just unlock your imagination, have fun for a little bit. What metaverse can enable this thing? Like if what I'm describing is attractive to you, you and I can be friends. You're probably into a lot of the cool things I am. And I mean, it piques your interest in life. Why do you work? What do you want to do? What do you want to own? What do you want to be? Right. So in its heightened form, I think the metaverse can offer that. And if you're a creator, if you're a disciplined and skilled artist or builder, you have a role in this world.
Right. Yeah. Totally agree with that.
Yeah. So Concept Art House, I'm kind of being vague, but we have all these partnerships. Of course, we're thinking about building, using all of our artists and all of our might to build something really special with Wilder World, Sandbox, and other metaverses maybe you haven't heard of yet. And very specific metaverses, the metaverse of dragons, the metaverse of robots, etc.
Yeah. Exciting. And I guess I'm not sure if you've looked at this project called NFT Worlds, right? Because you talked about sort of these metaverses, but obviously these are large spaces, right? And sometimes these visions will take years to build. But boiling it down to something more manageable, right? NFT Worlds, they have these basically leveraging off the Minecraft sort of art and technology, right? And they've created these mini worlds that you could actually piece together, right? So, wonder whether you've thoughts about that, and whether a firm like Concept House would be building stuff, on something like that.
I mean, it depends. Would we be open to that? Of course. I know what that's like, a 10,000 virtual worlds, right?
That's right.
Right? Yeah. No, it's cool. For when we make decisions, I mean, some of these have to be smart commercial decisions. Like we think we're innovating on how to partner also. We've done the outsourcing thing for 12 years. We're not doing that anymore. We want to partner and be true partners in a project. So if the commercial alignment is cohesive, where we get to run our own virtual stores and get rewarded proportionally for our own, we need to virtually own the land, have the freedom to work on this land, have fun on this land, attract our own users on the land, and be able to transact value for both our fan base, our players. So if we build this custom sport shop, sport car shop on our land, and we can transact value for the attendees, then that feels like a healthy ecosystem. And those are the kind of partnerships we would build on. We already know how to build. It's just a matter of aligning the right commercial incentives. And so I would advise anybody who's a small business owner or entrepreneurial in this space listening on this talk to think about your participation in the space in that way. Can you have fun? Can you create real value? Like, don't worry about the money. Can you create real things that people want to use and play? Right? That's how I would encourage you to think about Metaverse.
Makes a lot of sense. So that's super exciting, and I can't wait to see all of the different art and NFTs that you guys are going to create. For anybody that wants to follow you or follow what Concept Art House is doing, what are the best resources?
You can follow our Twitter at Concept Art House. You can follow me at JZ as in zebra concepts, JZ concepts. And I'll definitely get back to you. Just ping me, nudge me. I'm not hard to find.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's been super interesting, James. Any sort of last words for the audience? Any advice? Any sort of final words?
Yeah, I know that we have a great mix. I mean, what a great event, right? I've heard some really great talks today. I know we have a good mixture of crypto natives to crypto curious to crypto noobs. There's room for everyone. If you are thinking about really participating in this space, you've heard a lot of things around bad actors in the space, rug pulls. I really encourage you to find as many friends and allies in the space as possible. Don't just look for, I mean, even though I'm a huge proponent of the art, don't just look for the best looking art to follow. Look for the best teams. Look for disciplined teams. Think about your participation in this space. This is called Web3 for a reason. What that means is these things are supposed to last a long time. Look for teams that really have a long vision. The people we know from the Web2 gaming space that we really love and partner with, these are people that are like, James, I don't care what's going on, the hottest thing. There's so much FOMO in the space. I don't care. It takes 5 years to build my game, but when that game comes out, it's the real deal. Like, we love partnering with those guys. So think about DAOs. If you meet somebody with a cool DAO, ask yourself, are they really going to be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 100 years from now? So that's what Concept Art House is here to do. We want to build quality and NFTs and digital goods that last. And those are our partners too. So please don't think about it just in this year, how hot it is. Think about this being here for a very, very, very long time. There may not be a Web 4,
Yeah, that's very good advice, James. And, on that note, we certainly look forward to continue to work closely with you guys. And and hope you enjoyed the session too.
Yeah, thank you, Kelvin. Hey, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. See you in the Metaverse.
See you.
Bye.